Here we are. We're rolling now. EastLASportsScene.com. We're coming back to you here for updates on the local sports scene, and of course, in particular, the East LA sports scene. We're going to talk about many things here, but it's only a brief segment. It's an update segment, and coming in the studio back for a return visit, we're going to bring in Ricky Rosas because we want to know as much about the USC football program under the new coach and the new administration, Coach Lane Kiffin. We're going to find out how things are shaping up in the land of Troy for the USC Trojans. So that's basically our show. But we're going to start out here just with a quick recap. As you see here on the posters or the programs in front of me, it was rivalry week for the NC2A teams here from USC and UCLA and EastLASportsScene.com. We were there to pick up all the action at Galen Center this past Sunday, and it was a very good day to be with someone you really cared for, someone you love, because why? It was Valentine's Day, a natural fit for many people here in Southern California. But for the USC Trojans, they had the visions of victory in their minds, and their coach had prepared them well for the task at hand, and that was last Sunday at the Galen Center. It was the match, or the rematch, so to speak, for the USC Trojans and UCLA Bruins, and the winner, of course, in that game, we all know now, the USC Trojans coming out with a narrow win, but nonetheless a big win for Coach Kevin O'Neill and all of his frontline players. The final score, 68-64, and that boosts the Trojans now into the Pac-10 conference with a record of 7-5. Near the top, in the top five at least, maybe second or third as we go into this week's Pac-10 schedule. But with the loss, the UCLA Bruins dropped to 6-6, and who knows where that bubble will actually surface it at the end of the season. They do have the hopes of going into the Pac-10 tournament. If they win that outright, they can earn a bid to the NC tournament. But USC, their season will be over with the final game of the Pac-10 because why? The self-imposed sanctions that athletic director Mike Garrett put on the basketball team. They can only play the schedule out, and that's it. There will be no Pac-10 tournament, no NC2A tournament, and that is the stiff price that this team must pay. But nonetheless, they are providing a lot of excitement here for college hoop fans, and they have more games coming up here very soon. This week they'll be heading up to Washington for the road games, and then they're going to come back for Oregon and Oregon State, and then they finish out the season at Arizona and Arizona State. So we'll keep our eyes on the Trojans and the Bruins, but just remember the Bruins have a chance in the Pac-10 tournament. Many Bruin fans disappointed with this season and the performance that Coach Ben Howland has been getting from all of his players. They're just not clicking. Very difficult to find the right chemistry. But on the other hand, the Trojans with Dwight Lewis, Mike Garrity, Alex Stevenson, Marcus Johnson, Nikola Vucevic, a lot of great players on that team, and they're gelling at the right time. So that is our take on the big game, USC 68, UCLA 64, and they're going to continue on here this week, and we understand game day, college game day, coming up at the University of Washington as they take on the UCLA Bruins. That's for this Saturday. ESPN is hugely popular college game day. And we're also going to be looking at the high school playoff picture is now clearly set, and this Wednesday the boys in all pairings of the CIF Southern Section will take to the hard court, take to the courts for the tournament, the postseason. That's what all the teams gear up for all season, is to get into the final or get into your CIF Southern Section championships or going into the state championships pretty soon. Okay, so we'll keep you posted on that as well. Then quickly looking at the professional ranks, the NBA, as we all know, this weekend, as of last Friday, everything started with the celebrity game. Then you had the Frosh versus the sophomores, and then it was a three-point shootout, and Paul Pierce wins that. And then it was the slam dunk contest. A little disappointing to see the field that was in that, not very competitive, but the smallest man on the court, the mighty might of them all, Nate Robinson, setting an NBA record for his third consecutive victory in the slam dunk contest. And he went up against DeMar DeRozan, Shannon Brown, and let's see, who defeated him? It was DeMar DeRozan in the final? Yeah. and they took care of business there. Nate Robinson winning the slam dunk contest. And then in the big finale as of yesterday, as Sunday, when the game took place, the NBA All-Star and All-Star Weekend at Dallas Cowboy Stadium, 108,000 people filled that stadium to watch a basketball game. And as they say, if you weren't watching the big screen there in the stadium, you missed a lot of the action because you were so far away. But the East prevails in that game by a final score of 141-139. And Dwayne Wade, I think, did very well for the East and came up with some very critical plays. Disappointing that Kobe Bryant did not play due to his injury, but as we speak tonight, the doctor's holding him out again as they return to the regular season. I think they have 20 so more games at home, and then they'll be done. The season's going to be over. They go on the road, of course, but after the 82-game season, they'll be looking at the NBA postseason playoffs. So Lakers sure to be in there. Where will they fall? Where will they rank? We don't know yet. So anyway, that takes care of our look and our spin on basketball here on EastLASportsScene.com. We're going to come back because, as I just mentioned, our special guest, Ricky Rosas, special assistant, formerly to Coach Pete Carroll, who's moved on now to the Seattle Seahawks, as we all know. But in his place has come Lane Kiffin, and Lane Kiffin has said, Ricky Rosas, you're still part of the Trojan family. You'll be part of my staff as well. So we're going to speak to Ricky in just a moment. Don't go away. It's EastLASportsScene.com.